Welcome to the AASHTOWare Bridge Management version 7.0 release video. This release complies with new federal regulations, provides new and exciting inspection features, and is redesigned for a powerful, user-friendly experience like never before. The AASHTOWare Bridge Management software's longevity, success, and its BrM 7.0 redesign was only possible because of the dedication, collaboration, and hard work of our users, teams, and contributors. A special thank you to the states that participated in the solicitation and testing phases. This video gives a full overview of BrM 7.0. For a more high-level overview, you can find other videos on our YouTube channel. Let's start by looking at the security configurations available in BrM 7.0. The Settings, Security, Users page allows you to create and manage BrM 7.0 users, including their account and contact information, their assigned groups and roles, their qualifications, license information, and signature. We will look at most of these tabs in more detail as part of user certifications. The Change Password button allows you to set or reset a password for a user. The Settings Security Groups page allows you to create and manage BrM 7.0 groups. Groups are used to indicate a commonality amongst its members. For example, District 1 inspectors or Contractor ABC inspectors, as well as to configure access to individual asset records within BrM. This is distinct from roles, which are used to configure a given user's access to various pages within BrM, for example, inspector or admin. Groups are associated with one or more asset types. We will talk about the Access Filters tab as part of Filters. Once a group is created, users can be added to that group via the Users tab. The Settings, Security, Roles, and Permissions page allows you to create and manage roles, as well as configure permissions for those roles. Roles are then used on the Navigation Security page to configure a user's access to various pages within BrM. This is distinct from groups, which are used to indicate a commonality amongst its members. For example, District 1 inspectors or Contractor ABC inspectors, as well as to configure access to individual asset records within BrM. The permissions within a role are hard-coded to provide more granular security for specific functionality within BrM. For example, whether users in a role are considered to be inspectors in drop-down lists that filter by inspector users, or whether a user can edit all tabs of the cross-sections page. We will discuss the Multimedia and Reporting tabs in more detail as part of those sections. Once a role is created, users can be added to that role via the Users tab. The Settings, Security, Navigation Security page allows you to configure whether each role has no access, read-only access, or full edit access to each page within BrM 7.0. It also allows you to order how the menu items appear in the left-hand navigation of BrM 7.0, so that the navigation can be customized for your organization's needs. The Settings Security Password Rules page allows you to set rules for passwords created by BrM users. It also allows you to set an expiration window after which a user's password must be reset. Next, we'll look at configurations for filters and layouts. Filters are used on the asset listing pages, like Bridge List, Sign List, and Tunnel List, to filter the records displayed there. They are also used on the Groups page as access filters that determine which assets users in that group are able to access throughout BrM. There are two ways to create filters in BrM 7.0. Filters UI and Filters SQL. The Settings General Configuration, Pages and Dashboards. Filters UI page allows you to build a filter by selecting fields through the user interface. The Settings General Configuration, Pages and Dashboards Filter SQL page allows you to write a SQL statement for a filter. Both pages allow you to indicate whether a filter is shared with all BrM users or shared with specific BrM groups, meaning those users can choose that filter on the Bridge, Sign, or Tunnel List page. Both pages also allow you to indicate whether it's an access filter that is used on the Groups page to determine access to assets in BrM. Once a filter has been created and marked as an access filter, it can be used on the Asset Filters tab of the Settings, Security, Groups page. For example, a District 1 Bridges access filter can be created and added to the District 1 Inspectors group so that users in that group can see only the District 1 bridges. The Settings General Configuration, Pages and Dashboards Layouts page allows you to create a layout which indicates which columns are displayed in the Bridge, Sign, or Tunnel list when paired with a Filter UI filter. The Settings General Configuration Parameters page allows you to define values for parameterized drop-down fields throughout BrM. For example, you can define the Bridge Highway Agency district values used by your organization. The value field is what is saved in the database and reported, if applicable for that field, while the name field is what is displayed in the drop-down field in the application. Once parameters have been entered, they can be ordered as desired by dragging the records within the table to reorder them. Now let's look at the bridge level pages in BrM 7.0. The Bridge List page allows you to see all the bridges to which you have access. You can apply a filter to see the bridges that match that filter. You can also apply a layout to see different table columns in the listing. You can search any column in the table by clicking the search icon. You can create a new bridge record by clicking the Add New button and filling out the required fields. The Bridges Inventory and Appraisal Identification page allows you to see bridge information, including naming data, location data, classification data, construction data, geometry data, appraisal data, and railings and transition data. The Past Bridge field allows you to indicate a past bridge ID for a given bridge. The Bridge Location section allows you to input multiple sets of coordinates for a bridge, and to indicate which is the reportable location, which is also displayed on the map. The Calculated Deck Area automatically calculates using the total bridge length and bridge width out to out, but can be overridden by entering a value for a regular deck area. The Bridges Inventory and Appraisal design page allows you to define the superstructure sets, substructure sets, and structure units for each bridge. The structure units can be linked to a specific superstructure or substructure group and are used when capturing inspection element condition data. The Bridges Inventory and Appraisal Features page allows you to define the highway, railroad, waterway, relief for waterway, pathway, urban feature, dry terrain or slope, and other features that are above, below, or carried on each bridge. Once a feature type is selected, the applicable fields for that feature type are displayed. Highway fields are dependent on the feature location chosen. If the feature is above or below the bridge, then you can select another bridge's highway feature as a crossing bridge so that you do not need to create a duplicate entry of that data. For example, when entering that Bridge A is above Bridge B, you can select the C carried on record from Bridge A instead of duplicating that data by entering it again for Bridge B. When entering a highway record that is not a crossing bridge, you can input highway data, AADT data, clearance data, and user cost data. After an initial save, you can also enter route data for the highway. Next, we'll look at the general configuration available in BrM to support bridge inspections. The Settings, General Configuration, Inspection, Certification Types page allows you to define the certifications, experiences, and qualifications for your agency. Certifications may include things like college degrees or NHI courses. Certifications can be configured to require an uploaded document and can be set for manual or automatic approval. Experiences may include years of bridge inspection or design experience. Certifications and experiences are combined to form qualifications, which are managed via a SQL statement added directly to the database. If used by your organization, the license information from the users and user profile pages can also be used in creating qualifications. User certifications can be managed for a user on both the Settings, Security, Users page, as well as the User Profile page, which is accessible via the User Options menu at the top right of the screen. The Qualifications tab allows you to track a user's years of experience and certifications, which combine to form qualifications. Qualifications are updated automatically when a new experience or certification is added. Qualifications can be used elsewhere in BrM 7.0 to determine which users are allowed to create inspection events of various types. On the Users page, the tab also allows you to suspend active qualifications for a user and to end suspension of qualifications. The Signature and Stamp tab allows you to upload signature and/or stamp images, which can then be included on reports. The Inspection Management, Manage Certifications page allows you to view a list of all certifications and qualifications for all users in your organization. You can view a supporting document for a certification and then approve or deny a pending certification. On the User Qualifications tab, you can add a temporary qualification, which grants the qualification to the user without the user entering the required certifications or experiences. You can also manually trigger a refresh of all qualifications for all users. However, note that qualifications are also automatically updated. The Settings, General Configuration, Inspection, Inspection Types page allows you to define the bridge inspection types used by your organization. The inspection types listed by default on this page come from SNBI field BIE01 inspection type. Inspection types you add can be optionally linked to one of those values, so that they are reported for field BIE01. For example, if you would like to differentiate between a routine and a routine complex inspection type, so that you can require different qualifications for each type, you can create a new inspection type that is reported as to routine. For each inspection type, you can set the default interval in months. This is used to calculate the estimated due date of the next inspection of that type. For each inspection type, you can also indicate whether you want the inspection type to be part of the inspection assignment module. For example, you may want to assign routine inspections but not assign damage inspections. Lastly, you can define which requirements, if any, a BrM user needs in order to be able to begin an inspection of this type. This includes requiring a signature and/or stamp file to be uploaded for the user, as well as requiring the user to have active qualifications. The Settings, General Configuration, Inspection, Equipment Types page allows you to define the equipment used by your organization when performing bridge inspections. The equipment listed by default on this page comes from SNBI field BIE12 inspection equipment. Equipment you add can be optionally linked to one of those values so that it is reported for field BIE12. For example, if you would like to differentiate between various boats used by your agency, you can create new equipment records that are reported as A06 boat. You can map the equipment to its applicable inspection types so that it appears for selection when creating new inspection events. Once you have defined your organization-level equipment, the Bridges Inspection Future Inspection Plan equipment page allows you to define any bridge-level equipment that you would like to be added automatically when a new inspection event is created for that bridge. For each equipment record, you can define an alternative, as well as the applicable inspection types. Equipment added on this page is displayed as part of the inspection assignment module. If you do not want any equipment to be added automatically to new inspection events, then you can skip this configuration. The Settings, General Configuration, Inspection, Procedure Types page allows you to define the procedures used by your organization. You can categorize each procedure using a procedure type. Each procedure is associated with one inspection type. Similarly, once you have defined your organization-level procedures, the Bridges Inspection Future Inspection Plan Procedures page allows you to define any bridge-level procedures that you would like to be added when creating a new inspection event for the bridge. Unlike equipment, however, you must define bridge-level procedures in order for the procedures to appear when creating new inspection events. For each procedure, you can define the frequency as every, meaning it will be added to every new inspection event of its applicable inspection type. Once, meaning it will be added to the next inspection event of its applicable inspection type. Or once on or after, meaning it will be added to the next inspection event of its applicable inspection type, on or after the specified date. For procedures performed once on or after a specified date, a scheduled task deletes the procedure from this page once it has been added to an inspection event, and that inspection event has completed any applicable review. You can also customize the procedure details so that you can customize details for each bridge without needing to create a separate organization-level procedure for each bridge. The Settings, Modeling Configuration, Elements page allows you to define the elements used by your organization for each asset type. The elements listed by default on this page come from the Manual for Bridge Evaluation. Elements you add can be optionally linked to one of those values so that it is reportable for field BE01 element number. Each element is defined as being an element, a defect, or a protective system wearing surface. Once an element is created, you can link it to the applicable defects or protective systems. Elements can be ordered as desired by entering an order value. Now we'll look at the inspection level pages in BrM 7.0. The Bridges Inspection List page allows you to see a list of existing inspection events for a bridge, as well as to see the element condition history for that bridge. You can create a new bridge inspection record by clicking the Add New button and filling out the required fields. The inspection types displayed here are those that were not configured to be used in the inspection assignment module. Each inspection type has its own inspector selection. When the inspection event is created, many of the field values from the most recent overall inspection event are copied into the new event so that you can begin using the previous inspection's data. The Bridges Inspection Plan page allows you to input parking information for the bridge. as well as to see the procedures and equipment for the bridge. The procedures added for the inspection are those that were configured at a bridge level. You are able to check off procedures as they are completed. The equipment added for the inspection is any equipment that was configured at a bridge level. You are able to add additional equipment, either from the list of equipment previously used for the same inspection type for the bridge, or from the list of equipment configured for the inspection type. You also can add the number of hours a piece of equipment was needed for. The bridge's inspection condition page allows you to input general condition rating and element condition rating values for an inspection. The bridge condition classification and lowest condition rating code field values are automatically calculated based on the SNBI guidelines. Elements can be entered based on quantity or percentage in each of the 4 condition states. Once an element has been added, any defects or protective system wearing surface linked to that element can also be added. There are validations in place that the condition state values cannot exceed the parent element's condition state values or the total element quantity. The bridge's inspection scour plan of action page allows you to input your plan information for a bridge. Additionally, you can input contact information for emergency contacts for the bridge, which are distinct from BrM users. Lastly, you can input detour information indicating any other bridges that are part of a bridge's detour route. The bridge's inspection schedule page allows you to input information about the current inspection, as well as other upcoming inspections required for the bridge. You can set an inspection type as required for the bridge and set an estimated due date for that inspection type. You can also update the inspection types that were performed as part of this inspection event or the inspectors that performed those inspection types. Next, let's look at the general configuration available in BrM to support multimedia file uploads. The Settings, General Configuration, Multimedia page allows you to set up your storage type and location. Each asset ID has its own folder in BrM Multimedia, with a subfolder for each event type, such as inspection, load rating, and load posting, and subfolders for each individual inspection event. After adding category and subcategory values on the parameters page, you can map these values for each asset type so that they can be used to categorize each uploaded file. You can configure a file naming convention using the context file name settings to include specific data about the bridge or inspection event. Lastly, you can create additional subfolders for each bridge to meet your organization's needs. For example, you can create a plans folder for each bridge. You can configure the security for each folder within the folder structure by using the Multimedia tab of the Roles and Permissions page. Once the multimedia settings have been configured, the Sketch Templates page allows you to upload image templates for your organization that can then be used in any bridge inspection event. Now we'll look at multimedia. The multimedia modal is accessible via the Plan Options menu at the top right of the screen, on pages where you select a single asset. The folder structure you configured is displayed in the Multimedia Directory slide-out. Once you have selected a folder, you can view the existing files in that folder in a list view or a thumbnail view. You can open files in the web browser or download them. You can search for files using the file type filter, the search bar, or the search by tag bar. You can upload new files by clicking the upload button. You can assign category and subcategory values to the file, as well as adding tags. If you have configured a naming convention, the existing file name is replaced following the naming convention. Files can be set for inclusion in reports by checking the Include in Report checkbox. As part of an inspection event, the Bridges Inspection Sketches page allows you to mark up images. You can start from a blank image, from a sketch template, or from an existing sketch for the bridge. Next, let's look at inspection assignment in BrM 7.0. The inspection types eligible for inspection assignment are those configured on the Settings, General Configuration, Inspection Types page. Whether the inspection assignment module allows assignment to groups or to individual BrM users is configured on the Settings, General Configuration, Options page. If assigning to groups, the groups eligible for inspection assignment are those configured on the Settings, Security, Groups page. Each assignment group must have at least one point of contact who is able to request inspection reassignments. The Inspection Management, Inspection Assignment page allows you to view a list of upcoming unassigned inspection needs and to quickly assign them to existing assignments. It also allows you to create new assignments and to bulk add inspection needs to those assignments. You can assign the inspection needs to a group or user and set due dates for the inspections as well as the inspection review process. You can filter the unassigned inspection needs by inspection type, due date, or any table column. Once the inspection needs have been added, you can view them on a map by clicking the Map button. You can also view a summary of the inspection needs in order to catch any inspection needs that may not belong in the assignment you're creating. For example, you can see if any inspection needs are due in a different month than the other inspection needs in the assignment. Once an assignment has been created, you can view your assignments on the Bridges Inspection My Assignments page. You can click on an assignment to see the inspection needs for that assignment and the equipment or procedure needs for that inspection. If you believe an inspection need was included erroneously and are a point of contact, you can request reassignment of that inspection need, which sends it back to the unassigned inspections list on the inspection assignment page. You can begin a new inspection event by clicking the Begin Inspection icon, which takes you to the new inspection page. The inspection need you clicked to begin is already selected and cannot be deselected. This ensures that BrM can link the inspection need to the creation of a new inspection event. Other inspection needs from the same assignment are also selected. Once the inspection is created, it follows the same inspection process as an ad hoc inspection, created from the inspection list. Now we'll look at the configuration available in BrM to support inspection review. The Settings, General Configuration, Inspection Review page allows you to set up the inspection review process for your agency. You can first define each distinct step of the process, such as QC, QA, or field review, as well as the number of days to complete the step and whether a report is automatically generated and stored in the inspection event folder once the review step has been completed. An inspection may match no steps, one step, or multiple steps of the review process. Once a step has been created, you can define the conditions for the step. The conditions allow you to route the inspection to different review groups based on specific rules. For example, District 1 inspections may go to a District 1 review group, while inspections performed by contractors should always go to a contractor review group. Conditions can also take into account inspection data. For example, inspections might only be sent for review if the deck condition is below a certain threshold. The configured conditions are reviewed in order for a match, and only one condition per step can be matched for an inspection event. Conditions can be set for less than 100% of bridges, so that a sample of bridges is matched to the review condition each month. Additionally, you can configure whether the condition page is locked during inspection review, as well as whether the bridge validations are run and displayed prior to submitting an inspection event for review. Lastly, you can configure which bridge inspection, and highway fields are included in the inspection review. Next, let's look at the inspection review process itself. Once you have completed an inspection event, you can submit it for review from the Bridges Inspection Schedule page by clicking the Submit for Review button. If validation is enabled, then you are taken to the Bridges Validate page prior to confirming submittal for review. Because you may not be responsible for all data fields as part of your inspection event, you are not required to resolve errors prior to submitting for review. Once an inspection event has been successfully submitted for review, it is checked against the organization's steps and conditions to see if a match is found. You can view items pending your review on the Bridges Inspection My Pending Inspection Reviews page. If no matching steps are found, then the review is simply marked as review complete. The first tab shows you items that are assigned to your review group, but that no one has picked up yet for review. You can begin the inspection review by clicking the Begin Review icon. You cannot perform a review for an inspection event on which you were an inspector. The second tab shows you items for which you have begun but not completed the review. Once you have begun the review, you can see the following information: details, procedures and equipment, data values and elements, schedule, multimedia, and cross-sections. The Data Values and Elements tab allows you to compare the current inspection event's values to a selected previous event's values. You can mark an item as approved by clicking the Approve icon. Because your review may be limited to specific items, you're not required to mark all items as approved in order to complete your review. You can mark an item as flagged and add a comment by clicking the flagged icon. You cannot complete your review when one or more items is marked as flagged. You can add a comment by clicking the comment icon. Once you have completed your review, you can submit the review to the next step. This checks whether the review matches any additional steps in your organization's review process and removes the inspection event from your list of in-progress reviews. If a report is configured, then the report is generated and added to the multimedia folder for the bridge inspection. Alternatively, if you have flagged items in the review, you can send it back to the previous step. This sends it to the user that performed the previous review step if one exists, or allows you to select an inspector to send it back to if no previous review step exists. This removes the inspection event from your list of in-progress reviews and adds it to the other user's list of in-progress reviews. The user can then use the comments feature to respond to any comments, or can change the field values in the inspection event if appropriate, and can send the inspection forward again. Lastly, if you want to send the review back to the group of reviewers so that another user can pick it up for review instead of you can cancel review. The Inspection Management Inspection Reviews page allows you to see an overview of all in-progress reviews for your organization. In case a reviewer is not able to complete their review, you are able to cancel the review on their behalf so that it is sent back to the group of reviewers. Now, we'll look at the configuration available in BrM to support load rating and load posting events. The Settings General Configuration Vehicle Types page allows you to define the sign types and vehicle types used by your organization for load posting and load rating events. The sign types listed by default on this page come from SNBI field BEP03, posting type. Sign types you add must be linked to one of those values so that it is reported for field BEP03. The vehicle types listed by default on this page come from SNBI field BEP01 legal load configuration. Vehicle types you add must have a code value entered so that they can be reported for field BEP01. Each vehicle type can also be optionally linked to sign types so that it is included when that sign type is selected on a load posting event. You can indicate whether a vehicle type is automatically added to new load rating events using the Add to Event checkbox. Next, let's look at load rating events. The Bridges Load Ratings page allows you to create new load rating events for a bridge. One load event per bridge can be marked as the reportable load rating event for the bridge. This is the event used for the submittal. Once a load rating event is created, the configured vehicle types are automatically added to the event. You can add additional vehicles, including multiple records for a vehicle type, by clicking the Add New button. You can mark one vehicle record per load rating event to be used in the submittal as the inventory load rating factor, operating load rating factor, and/or controlling legal load rating factor. Now we'll look at load posting events. The Bridges Load Postings page allows you to create new load posting events for a bridge. The load posting status is determined by the values you select for open posted closed and for permanent temp supported. Once a load posting event is created, you can add sign types to that load posting. Each sign type shows the vehicles configured for that sign type, as well as the rating factor for that vehicle from the reportable load rating event if one exists. Next, let's look at the configuration available in BrM to support work candidates. The Settings Modeling Configuration Actions page allows you to define the actions your organization takes to maintain, repair, or replace its bridges. These actions are used in work candidates. Now we'll look at work candidates. The Bridges Inspection Work Candidates page allows you to create work candidates for a bridge. Work candidates recommend an action be performed on a bridge and can be marked as completed. You can optionally link a work candidate to an inspection event, or you can simply link it to the bridge. Next, let's look at the configuration available in BrM to support critical findings. The Settings General Configuration Inspection Critical Findings page allows you to define the critical findings workflow for your organization. You can enable 1 or 2 levels of review to confirm a critical finding is valid. For each level of review, you can optionally define rules to determine the appropriate review group and must define the default review groups in case no other rules are met. For example, bridges in District 1 may go to a District 1 review group, and an admin group may be selected as the default catch-all group. You can configure whether your workflow automatically emails FHWA contacts, can manually email the contacts, or never emails the contacts. These contacts are entered as email addresses, meaning they do not need to be BrM users. If automatically emailed, your contacts will be notified when a critical finding is confirmed and moves to in-progress status, as well as when it is completed and moved to resolved status. Lastly, you can configure additional email contacts to be included in all critical finding emails. Now we'll look at critical finding events. The Bridges Inspection Critical Findings page allows you to create new critical finding events for a bridge. Once the critical finding is created, it is automatically moved into pending Level 1 review status, and the review group is emailed. The buttons that are displayed on the page are dependent on whether the second level of review is enabled, as well as whether FHWA is being emailed as part of the workflow. You can only see the buttons if you are in the review group for the critical finding. Once all levels of review are complete, the critical finding is moved to in progress status. From here, it can be moved to a status of resolved. If a critical finding is resolved in error, it can be reopened. Alternatively, when the critical finding is in review, you can mark it as not a critical finding, so that it is closed and no FHWA contacts are emailed. The Immediate Actions section allows you to create work candidates that are tied to the critical finding. The Critical Finding log allows you to see the history of the critical finding. You can also link events for the bridge, such as inspection, load posting, or load rating events to the critical finding, as well as update the priority of the critical finding. If you are in the review group for the critical finding, the Outstanding Tasks section allows you to assign a task to another user, asking them to create a new event and link it to the critical finding. You can complete tasks that are assigned to you. Next, let's look at cross-sections. The Bridges Inspections Cross-Sections page allows you to input cross-section data for a bridge. For each set of cross-section data, you can input a horizontal shift using the station equation and/or a vertical shift using the elevation equation. This allows you to adjust in case different data sets were measured from different points. For each set of data, you can also set the graph line settings, including the name, style, and color of the line. You can create 2 orientations per bridge, left and right. For each orientation, you can enter structure detail information, including the deck elevation and footing types at various station points along the bridge. Once the data is entered, it appears on the graph. If known, you can also enter the original streambed elevation or soundings. Once the data is entered, it also appears on the graph. You can also enter streambed cross-section data, with each record having its own offset and date. Like the original streambed elevation, this data can use elevation or soundings. It can also be optionally linked to an inspection event for the bridge. You can use the graph settings slide out to select which streambed cross-section records are displayed in the graph. If it exists, you can enter data for a scour-resistant layer, which is also displayed in the graph. Lastly, you can enter scour potential evaluation data and display it in the graph. The graph, which also displays some bridge-level identifying data, can be downloaded in various formats or printed. You can configure which roles have no access, read-only access, or full edit access to each of the tabs on the cross-section page using permissions on Settings, Security, Roles, and Permissions. Now we'll look at work events. The Bridges Work Events page allows you to input work event data for a bridge, including the year and the type of work performed. The drop-down fields help you choose the appropriate work code for the type of work that was performed. Next, let's look at the configuration available in BrM to support assessment events. The Settings, Modeling Configuration, Assessment Types page allows you to define the assessment types for your organization. For example, you may have accident, fatigue, or seismic assessments. Each assessment type has a likelihood minimum and maximum, as well as a consequence minimum and maximum. Now we'll look at assessment events. The Bridges Inspection Assessments page allows you to create assessment events for a bridge. Each assessment uses one of the organization's assessment type and validates the likelihood and consequence values against the configured minimum and maximum values for those fields. Next, let's look at validation and submittal. The Bridges Validate page allows you to select one or more bridges and then to run the FHWA validations on them to see any information, warnings, or errors for those bridges. The Summary tab gives an overview of the count of critical and general errors for each bridge selected. The Results tab displays each information, warning, or error message in detail. The Submittal's SNBI export page allows you to select one or more bridges, and then to export those bridges' data into a JSON file for submittal to FHWA. You can exclude bridges from the SNBI submittal export using the Report Bridge to FHWA checkbox on the Bridges Inventory and Appraisal identification page. Now we'll look at how to add fields to the existing asset and event database tables. The Settings, General Configuration, Asset Types page allows you to add new fields to existing database tables, such as the Bridge, Inspection, Load Rating, Load Posting, Critical Finding, and Assessment tables. The Data Type fields allow you to define the new database field's type, such as number, string, date, or time. You can also select types of asset ID, event ID, or user ID to indicate that the field is storing a GUID. Once a field type is selected, you can define the precision and scale, if applicable, for the field type. You can also provide a default value for the field, set the field as required, and/or set the field as unique. Once you have created your new database field, you can input validations for the field based on the field type selected. After creating your new database field, you can click to generate a script, which can then be run on the database to insert the new field. If the new field you create is parameterized, you can define the parameter values for the field on the Settings, General Configuration, Parameters page. Next, let's look at Page Builder, which offers the ability to create new form and dashboard pages. The Form tab on the Settings, General Configuration, Pages and Dashboards, Page Builder page allows you to create new forms for any asset or event type. If you want to make changes to an existing form, you can copy the form and then make updates to it. For example, you may want to add a field you created on the Asset Types page to one of your forms. If you want to build a new form, you can click Add New to begin. Then you can define the asset type and optionally the event type of the new form. Once you create the form, you can add basic or advanced controls to the form. The basic controls are always available for use, but the advanced controls change depending on the page's asset and event type. Some examples of advanced controls are the element condition grid and the work candidates table. To create a basic editable form, you must add an asset selector, one or more fields using the field input control, and the Save button in the Form buttons control. The field input control is designed to offer different setting options depending on the selected field's field type, as well as whether the field is set as required or calculated. For example, a field set as optional in the database can be set as required on the form, but a field set as calculated in the database cannot be set as editable on the form. Once the form is built, you can edit the form settings to change the form's location in the navigation menu and to make the page visible or editable to various roles. By default, all newly created pages are hidden for all roles, so that you can finish building the form before other users try to use it. The Dashboard tab on the Settings, General Configuration, Pages and Dashboards Page Builder page allows you to create new dashboards for any asset. Dashboards do not allow you to create or modify data for the assets, but rather display an overview of the existing data. You can build dashboards suited for various roles within your organization that show data most important to each role. Let's look at BrM 7.0's standard dashboard on the Bridge Dashboard page. This dashboard consists of summary data of bridge counts and percentages for inventory, condition by bridge, and condition by deck area. These counts consist of SQL statements that you can copy and modify to create new dashboards for your organization. The dashboard also has a pie graph and a table grid. When you click on any of the counts, the table grid displays the bridges that contribute toward that count. You can view the bridges in a map by clicking on the Map button. The Settings, General Configuration, Pages and Dashboards, Dashboard Chart Templates page allows you to create chart templates that can then be used on any bridge dashboard. Now we'll look at reports. After configuring the multimedia settings, you can register any Crystal report files you have created on the Reports Register page. Once a report has been registered, you can make the report available to users in specific roles on the Reports tab of the Settings, Security, Roles and Permissions page. Once a report's role security has been updated, you can run a report using the Reports Generate page. You can use the Assets tab to select one or more bridges, then use the Reports tab to select which report you want to generate. The Settings, General Configuration, Scheduled Tasks page allows you to schedule reports to run at specified intervals and to save those reports to a specified location or to email the reports. Next, let's look at other asset types currently supported by BrM 7.0. First, let's look at signs, which includes a list, an inventory form, an inspection list page, an inspection form, and a work candidates page. Similar to the bridge list page, the sign list page allows you to see all the signs to which you have access. You can apply a filter to see the signs that match that filter. You can also apply a layout to see different table columns in the listing. You can search any column in the table by clicking the search icon. You can create a new sign record by clicking the Add New button and filling out the required fields. The Signs Inventory page allows you to input sign level data for each sign. The Signs Inspection List page allows you to see a list of existing inspection events for a sign. You can create a new sign inspection record by clicking the Add New button and filling out the required fields. Like bridge inspections, each sign inspection type has its own inspector selection. Like in bridge inspection, when a sign inspection event is created, many of the field values from the most recent overall inspection event are copied into the new event. The Signs inspection page allows you to input inspection data for a sign. This includes the schedule of required and upcoming inspections for a sign, as well as element conditions for sign elements. Like bridge elements, sign elements can be created on the Settings, Modeling Configuration, Elements page. The Signs, Inspection, Work Candidates page allows you to create work candidates for a sign. Work candidates recommend an action be performed on a sign and can be marked as completed. Like bridge actions, sign actions can be created on the Settings, Modeling Configuration, Actions page. Now we'll look at tunnels. Like signs, tunnels includes a list, an inventory form, an inspection list page, an inspection form, and a work candidates page. Tunnels also has a submittal page. Similar to the bridge list and sign list pages, the tunnel list page allows you to see all the tunnels to which you have access. You can apply a filter to see the tunnels that match that filter. You can also apply a layout to see different table columns in the listing. You can search any column in the table by clicking the search icon. You can create a new sign record by clicking the Add New button and filling out the required fields. The Tunnels inventory page allows you to input tunnel-level data for each tunnel. The Tunnels inspection list page allows you to see a list of existing inspection events for a tunnel. You can create a new tunnel inspection record by clicking the Add New button and filling out the required fields. Like bridge and sign inspections, each tunnel inspection type has its own inspector selection. Like in bridge and sign inspections, when a sign inspection event is created, many of the field values from the most recent overall inspection event are copied into the new event. The Tunnels inspection page allows you to input inspection data for a tunnel. This includes the schedule of required and upcoming inspections for a tunnel, as well as element conditions for tunnel elements. Like bridge elements, sign elements can be created on the Settings, Modeling Configuration, Elements page. The Tunnels inspection Work Candidates page allows you to create work candidates for a tunnel. Work candidates recommend an action be performed on a tunnel and can be marked as completed. Like bridge and sign actions, tunnel actions can be created on the Settings, Modeling Configuration, Actions page. The Submittals export page allows you to select one or more tunnels, and then to export those tunnels' data into a file for submittal to AASHTOWare. In addition to the 3 asset types that come standard with BrM 7.0, you can use the Settings, General Configuration, Asset Types page to create any additional asset types needed by your organization. After running the scripts on your database, you can use the Page Builder to create an asset list page, an inventory page, an inspection page, and a work candidates page for the new asset type. As with the other assets, you can define the elements for your new asset type on Settings, Modeling Configuration, Elements, and the actions for your new asset type on Settings, Modeling Configuration, Actions. This concludes our overview of BrM 7.0. If you have questions or need additional support, please visit AASHTOWareBrM.org or reach out to us through Jira Service Management or by email at brm@mayview.com.